cannot solve with the mind, with talking, what happened at the level of the body. Therapy is great, all this mental work. But once you're in a survivor state, your affirmations will not help you. I'm sorry. No, because as soon as you're triggered, you go back into your learned coping mechanisms. So your body goes back into that. We cannot work only with understanding what happened. Yeah, it's the story, which is helpful, but we need to work with what is happening with the body in the states when you are triggered.
What are the top 3 signs that our bodies tell us
My purpose is to help professionals connect with themselves and with others. Therefore, by the end of this episode, I would love to know, do you feel more connected?
Bianca, I'm very excited to have you on the Core Impact podcast. And I would like to start with you, as I saw how you start with in your workshops with a breathing technique. Maybe you can lead us with 30 to 60 minute technique so we can connect with our body directly from the beginning.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. And absolutely, my pleasure. Okay, so I always say, we have everything we need already built in. Yeah, we just don't use it so much. And one of the most important anchors that we have is our breath. Yeah. Why our breath? Because when we breathe deeply into our belly, we signal our body that we are not in a survival state. Yeah, we cannot be in a survival state and breathing deeply. So that's what we start doing. Yeah. So inhale with me deeply, all the way up to your crown, and then exhale with a sigh. Yeah, let others hear you. Yeah. And then inhale one more time, all the way up. Draw everything up to the crown of your head, and then exhale deeply. Beautiful. And then one more time, and we now draw also our shoulders up to the ears. Yeah, all the way up, up. So we don't have a neck anymore. And then deeply release. And we already feel, many of us store a lot of tension in our shoulders, neck. Yeah, that's the area where we somatically hold responsibility for others. Yeah. And then also the sighing, and I really want to bring it one more time. I know it's so uncomfortable for many. Yeah, for making us be audible, taking space. Yeah, audible space. But let's sigh again. Yeah, it's so good. Psychological sighing. So inhale with me. And then really deeply sigh it out. Yeah, and you can also bring in your, shake it off. Yeah, shake off the tension from your body. Oh my goodness. And it feels so good. Yeah, I oftentimes start my workshops like this and people are like, oh, this is uncomfortable. And when we do it for a couple of seconds even, then it's like, wow, it feels really good. Yeah. So sometimes we're just, like so protective of our image and everything that we actually do not allow our bodies to feel free. Yeah. So that's already where we are, right?
Yeah.
Our conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Bianca. I love how you started the podcast now, and I would like to also directly hear from you, your story. Could you please share your story from being a young founder and CEO to being a somatic coach? What led you to this change?
the flow of life, surrendering to the flow of life, I would say. No, but you mentioned already, I founded my first tech startup when I was 22. So while still being at university, and we grew really fast. Yeah, we really hit basically the nerve of the time and was very successful. We grew really fast within a year from a small founding team to over 30 people. We had venture capital investors and very well-known angel investors. And one advice that I received as this young female CEO, from many mentors, but also, from my investors, was in a way put on a thicker skin. So become a little bit more tough and not so sensitive, as they called it. And I have always been very, receptive. I would call it now receptive, empathetic. And this is actually one of my big strengths. But over the time, being this, young female founder and CEO, I learned that the less emotions I show, the more, successful I become. Or maybe let's phrase it a little bit different. The less, or the more selective I am with my emotions. Because some are welcome. And everyone always wanted the super energetic, young, always full on passionate CEO. But there were a lot of emotions that were not welcome. So I basically learned to train myself to be on stage, go in a meeting, go from maybe a tough conversation to the next meeting without, ever changing my state in a way. But it was only externally, because of course, internally, we still feel it, even though we do not allow it, that doesn't mean that we don't feel the emotions or that they aren't produced, that they aren't there on different levels, And so I was going like that, let's say for 6-7 years, and it was going okay for most of the part. I'm very focused and determined, so it was going well. But after about 6-7 years, I really felt like, oh my goodness, like there's that, like I started to have all these different symptoms that I didn't have. I couldn't feel emotions really anymore. Like nothing really excited me. No matter how big the stage was or the next Forbes feature or whatever, like nothing really excited me anymore. And I really started to feel like, what is this? Like, I'm feeling so different. Like, I feel so disconnected from myself. I don't feel myself anymore. And it became harder and harder to, let's say, pretend. But I was still in this role. And at this time, I was actually building my second health tech startup in the US. So I was living in New York City. And I would say I was perfectly fitting in with my kind of, perfect little role, curated role. So I would also say everything was really supporting that. And then it came how it had to come in a way, I really burned out. And I not only burned out in a way that I was exhausted and that I needed a break, but I really, really physically, hormonally, energetically, emotionally was completely drained, and in a way that I could not move forward anymore. So this was the point where basically I would say, I call it the higher self. We can call it whatever we want. Higher wisdom stepped in, and I knew this is it. You cannot go on like this. This is it. And then I stepped away from my role as CEO, actually. And I really just dove deeply into what I thought would be my own, let's call it, healing journey. But it, as you know now, it became much more. And this is also what I oftentimes say, because I work a lot with people who are going through big transitions in life, which I call the magic darkness, where we leave a complete role behind. For me, it was my life being the female successful CEO. I couldn't imagine what else would I be. So I left a complete identity behind, and I really opened myself for what is there. And it's very, very challenging and very painful oftentimes, because we're confronted with all the grabbing. But I did it. And this is what I say so often when I work with people who are going through this magic darkness. When we already want to conceptualize what is next, or we really want to see it, it's still from the mind. But we need to allow this, grace and magic to flow. So through my own, let's say, healing journey, I really started working with my emotions deeply, with somatics. I met more and more amazing teachers. And I really just dove in and studied for about 3 to 4 years. Yeah, basically, I devoted my life to studying the power of emotions and somatics. I lived in India, lived in Mexico, and so on and so forth. And then I knew, at one point, oh my goodness, this is so powerful. Yeah, all this wisdom is so powerful. And where can I bring it, or where do I have the most impact to bring it back to? Of course, the tech world, the startup world. Yeah. So I really started to basically create and do what I wish I had back then. Yeah. So I really, started to create the guidance, the programs, the support, the education in a way that I wish I had back then as a CEO or founder. Yeah. So that's what I do.
If you are enjoying the Core Impact podcast and feel inspired, let's connect on LinkedIn. You can search for my name, Omar El Mamlouk, or click on the link in the description. I would love to hear your thoughts or collaborate on projects around mental health and well-being at workplace, inclusive leadership, inner leadership, and the future of work. Let's co-create impact together.
Beautiful, Bianca. And since now you mentioned also the shoulders, that when we have the shoulders, when there is a tension in our shoulders, I remember you said also that it is a sign that we are carrying too much responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to know from you the connection between the body and the emotions. What are the top 3 signs that our bodies tell us, but we tend to ignore, or we don't understand these signs?
Okay. Beautiful. Let's dive first into, let's say, the top 3 signs. Yeah. So, one sign that you hold too many emotions is tension. Yeah. You already mentioned it, and I always say it. Yeah. Because we think, oh, it's normal. We're working a lot on the computer and so on and so forth. And of course, it's also, from sitting 12 hours in front of the computer for sure. But unprocessed emotions store in our what we call fascia, in our, also we could say, really tense our muscles. So when we have, for example, lower back pain, really this neck tension, a lot of tightness in our body, that's already one really, really big sign that there is, something kind of not flowing, stuck in a way. Then the second one is when we start to feel flat. Yeah. So no matter what happens, in a way, no matter the next big milestone, the next whatever achievement, or also, just a beautiful, let's say, family thing coming up, but I cannot really feel anything anymore because I'm so maybe only focused on building, or whatever it is. That's the second sign. Yeah. When I'm starting to feel numb and flat. And the third big thing is, you already said it, like our body always speaks to us. And when we start to have really symptoms, physical symptoms, I'm trained in psychosomatics. It's not woo-woo, it's very powerful science, where we see really which stored emotions, which stored tension is connected possibly to which symptom. It's never this is this, but we see the connection. So when your body starts to speak with you in, more, it can be simple as a sinusitis that is chronic or recurringly coming up. It's pointing to something that is there going on. Or digestive issues is a very common thing that we notice. Things with our reproductive organs, for example, like all kind of things that are coming up are messages from your body. And you asked about the shoulders and the neck. So we have different areas in our body that are connected to, let's call it different themes. And so the whole shoulder area is really carrying weight for others, or from expectations from others. So you can imagine to have this heavy weight. oftentimes founders say the weight of the world on my shoulders. And this is really what it is. Yeah. It's holding for others. Yeah. Then, for example, and this is what I do when I work somatically, I really see what our body is doing when we have a lot of holding on. Yeah. We do not want to let go of things. Our wrists tense, yeah, our hands tense, yeah. So we're holding on to an old identity, for example, and see through the body in a way what is going on. And then the neck is also really powerful to work with, yeah, because we oftentimes ignore the neck, yeah. We don't even bring some attention to it. But the neck is connected to our expression, yeah, our expression dimension. So expressing truth, also living truth. Am I allowing myself to state boundaries? Am I allowing myself to, say what I really need to say? So everything with the neck, with the thyroid, throat, yeah, is really related to, am I really expressing my truth? Yeah, just some examples. I could go, of course, very so deep in it, but we need 10 hours.
Yeah. And let's talk also about the emotions. What are the top 3 emotions that people usually tend to ignore, and when we miss the signs, we don't listen to these emotions, then we might have such burnout or any kind of collapse maybe in the end.
Yeah. Let's start with a little bit a different view, because actually there's very powerful research from Brené Brown. Yeah, she's one of the leading sociologists and researchers in the field of emotions, especially vulnerability and shame. And she did this long-term study and saw that most people, yeah, this was for the US, but it's, let's say, the Western world, most people can only name 3 to 5 emotions, actually. 3 to 5 emotions. Like, okay, I'm either angry, I'm happy, or I'm sad. Yeah, okay, but our emotional spectrum is much, much broader and bigger, yeah, than 3 emotions or 5 emotions, yeah. So this is the first thing that we need to understand. The less we can name emotions and sense them, yeah, differentiate them, the less we can also really, go deeper and really understand them and release them and see what's the message behind, and so on and so forth. But 3, let's say, more challenging emotions or more suppressed emotions. Number 1 is for sure anger. Yeah, most people have a very challenging relationship with anger. Yeah. And I do this emotional journeys, yeah, where we go into one emotion in each module. Yeah, right now it's running, and it's so powerful to just see our conditioning around a certain emotion. So the conditioning means what have I learned from my parents, from my family? What is, is anger okay or is it not okay? Yeah. Right. Usually when it comes to anger, we always have the one, yeah, the angry one that we know as the angry one. It could be our father, could be somebody else, could be even the world, yeah. And then we're like, no, I never want to be like this, yeah. And so we start to condition anger as something bad, for example, yeah. Or we heard many times as girls, for example, no, don't be too loud, don't be too much, yeah, don't be so angry, yeah, this is not what good girls do. So we have a lot of conditioning around it. So anger is very powerful to work with, and I love to work with it, because without anger, we cannot set healthy boundaries, because this is the essence of anger. Anger teaches us to set healthy boundaries, yeah? And so many, and there's also conditioning around, let's say, genders. So many women especially have really unhealthy relationship with anger, in a sense that anger is is suppressed a lot, and then we do not really reclaim our, boundaries and truth and power also. Yeah. So anger. Then second, I always say it's like the brother of anger. It's sadness. Yeah. So it's very powerful, because many women actually have a lot of suppressed anger. And usually they would come to me and say, yeah, I'm always sad. Yeah, I don't know. I feel so, yeah, so overwhelmed, so sad, a little bit more depressed. Yeah. But this is the expression of the suppressed anger. Yeah. So because you do not suppress, let's say, release it, it finds its other way of releasing. Yeah. And oftentimes this goes through the sadness. But then many men come to me. I work with a lot of CEOs and more powerful men. They say, and like, yeah, I have this aggression. I don't know where it's coming from. And I'm like, yeah, we need to work with the sadness, actually. Yeah, because this is something that is also very conditioned. Yeah, we do not want to feel weak or something. But sadness is really, really beautiful to work with because it actually allows us to process things and to turn them basically into wisdom.
Because a man always need to be strong.
Exactly. Yeah, there are so many conditionings. Yeah, this is all conditioning, emotional conditioning. We need to see how deeply conditioned we are on an emotional level. Yeah, it's very, very powerful to start observing that. Yeah. So, and the third one, wow, it's really hard to pick because I love emotions, right? I can speak so long about it, but I would say guilt. Yeah, we have a very difficult relationship to guilt, yeah, because what does the emotion of guilt on a neurobiological level want from us? Just take a moment and think about it. It's so powerful. So why do we have guilt neurobiologically? Yeah, every emotion has a deep neurobiological sense, yeah, an aim. And guilt wants us always to return back to the tribe. Yeah. So we do something that is out of alignment with the tribe rules. Yeah. Because we're very primal when it comes to emotion. So this is not in alignment with the rules of the tribe. And so, our body produces guilt for us. Yeah. Always. Yeah. When we start to see our bodies as this powerful, intelligent vessels, we can learn to see things differently. So our body produces the emotion of guilt for us because it wants us to be safe. And the safest thing we could do back then is to return back to the tribe. Because if we do our own thing, we would maybe get eaten by a tiger, or we would starve to death or whatever. Yeah. So this is the neurobiology that we need to understand. So why do so many people want to start their own business? And they have maybe all these great ideas and they have this willpower and they really want to do it and they never get to do it.
Because
Yeah.
because there's a feel of guilt here because they will be afraid that they will go on their own way, right?
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, we need to understand this. So let's say we come from this family where everyone always had the safe job, and safety is a really big value, yeah, for many of our families and us, yeah. And then we have this really good, well-paying job, but we are not fulfilled with it. So we are really certain that we are now gonna found our own business. But everyone is telling us, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Why you wanna leave your job? Will you make it? And so on and so forth. And what is happening? Guilt is so, and then we say like, no, I'm gonna do it now. But we try to escape something, but as soon as we do that, there is some sort of guilt being produced inside of us. Yeah, guilt. And it could look like, wow, can I really tell my employer that I want to quit, even though, they have supported me? Wow, can I really start building a side business while I'm still employed? Yeah. Can I really start posting on LinkedIn? This is one thing I hear so often. Can I really start posting on LinkedIn while I'm still paid as an employer somewhere, as an employee? Or like we have a family, for example, to care for. And it's like, but what if I cannot care for my family anymore? So these are all ways the guilt is creeping in. Yeah. Brrr. And then what do we do if we do not understand it? If we do not allow the emotion? oh yeah, we return to what is safe. So we stay in our job that we maybe have outgrown, where we do not feel fulfillment anymore, because our brain always wins if we are not conscious, because this is how we survived thousands and thousands and thousands of years as humanity. And this is the main goal of our brain, keep us safe and keep us in connection.
Are you feeling stuck at work, disconnected from yourself or your team? If you are searching for more meaning in what you do, I am offering a free 30-minute call to help you clarify your purpose, your values, your vision, and your mission. Connect with me on LinkedIn and let's take the first step together. I'm curious here where you talk about LinkedIn. Like many of your clients, they even ask you if we can simply post on LinkedIn about anything that we are interested in just because we are employee. We are afraid to do this. Okay.
No, it's so powerful. Like we are so highly conditioned. And I mean, I could also speak about, so long about our freedom mindset, but we're so highly conditioned that we almost, deep down, and those of you who are listening, check for yourself. We really believe once somebody pays us, once we have an employer, we are basically almost their belonging, a little bit their passion in a way. And people might say, no, that's not the case for me. But if you really look deeper, if you look into what you allow yourself to do, yes, it is like this. And this is, again, the survival mechanism, the sense, the need of safety that is, so deeply tied into us. So, I work with people, for example, also supporting them to build their businesses. I work also with many female entrepreneurs, actually, or female founders, but really support them on their path. And they are building beautiful businesses, freedom businesses. We call them soul-aligned freedom businesses. And then I'm like, I mean, your clients are on LinkedIn. It would be good to start posting about your topic. And they're like, oh no, but my employer could see it. I'm like, and so what? You can speak about your things. It's your platform, but I cannot be employed and do this. Why not? Like, of course, we need to check contracts and stuff, but our mindset is oftentimes this little box, and this is actually the hardest one to escape, our own prison that we built for ourselves. The golden cage. So this is also a lot of the inner work that we do.
Also here, since you mentioned this is interesting, Bianca, because I had this in mind. I remember you said before, our emotions, what if our emotions are our superpower? And what if our emotions tell us always the truth and we might not listen to it? And sometimes our emotions could lead us in the end, in this, also the example you mentioned, to leave our current job. But isn't that risky? Like, how can we trust our emotions when we do such decisions? It might be the riskiest decisions that people could think of.
I mean, yes, it's really about becoming more and more conscious of our wiring, of our deep ingrained patterns. And I can become conscious that I have a need for safety, for example, but is my need for safety really 90%? So I need to stay in a job that is super safe, but I hate? Or is it maybe, okay, I wanna, have a little side business, or I have let's say a part-time job that gives me safety, that I can do with, integrity, and I want to build my, freedom business, soul-aligned business, also, So it's always about seeing what is my wiring, and this is really also part of the coaching and the somatic therapy, to explore our values, because you might have a different sense of, need for safety that I might have, for example, or you might have a different need for variety than I might have, And so it's also really about becoming truthful with our own selves, And I had this is very interesting. I'm sharing a personal story. So after, building tech companies for 8 years, and then I was, doing my, personal inner work. And then, at one point I thought, I don't want to be this crazy founder anymore. I'm done with 8 years of basically near death experiences. And I received this job offer from an entrepreneur friend of mine, dear friend, but it was for a contract. I was actually working for the ministry, Austrian ministry. And I thought, yeah, why not? It sounds amazing. And, it gives me safety and, all of this. On paper, it sounded great. But you know what I did not take into consideration? That I have a very little need or small need for actual safety. Yeah. My sense of safety. Yeah, that's why I'm an entrepreneur, and that's why I, live everywhere in the world and so on and so forth, is actually pretty small. But what is pretty high, is my need for authenticity, for freedom, for variety, And so, knowing my values, I would be like, no, this is only nice on paper, but not for myself. So this is also deep inner work that we do with really exploring our values as this inner compass. Yeah, as this inner, so powerful.
So understanding our values comes with understanding our emotions. Then we know how to make our decisions. It's not only one of them, but when you have both, when I know what my values are and I always listen to my body and my emotions, then even if I don't know, there is lots of unknown that will happen because I'm in this phase of exploration, let's say. Many new things will come up, but this is the way that I know in the end I can live the life that I want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So emotions are really messengers. Yeah. I always say it's the messages that we receive from our higher selves. Yeah. From our wise selves. If we listen. Yeah. And, so it can be really simple that I walk into a room, for example, and something in me feels like, I don't want to be here. Yeah. I don't want to be here. No, it doesn't feel good. Okay. I can override it easily. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I have done it thousands of times. We all are trained to override it, but there's some message in it. And it doesn't mean that you do not want to be here at all, that it's a horrible event or that it's a horrible partner or whatever. No, it just means in this very moment, you're highly intelligent, in a dashboard, is sending you the information that you do not want to be here right now. So this could mean, actually, I'm really tired and overwhelmed and I would need to sleep instead of being at a networking event, for example. Or it could mean, it's out of integrity to be at this event right now. Or it could mean, I'm feeling really insecure. This is why I do not want to be here. So it's not that an emotion says like, this is it. It gives us a cue and a clue to work with, or to reflect on. And we can get really good at this, For me, it's like so normal now to go somewhere and just check, how am I feeling? It's fun. It's fun. It's playful. It's like, oh, wow. And then when my body says like, no, I don't want to be here, I'm like, why? What? It's like this curiosity. And it's also something when I work with people, when they come to me, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. I need to do more healing. I need to do this. I need more personal development, more courses. No, like, why can we approach it with a little bit more playfulness? You're human. You will personally develop your whole life, hopefully. So there's no curriculum to check off, or there's nothing, why do you put yourself another to-do list? I need to heal this, I need to heal this, I need to heal this. No, just be curious, human being.
I love your energy, Bianca. And there is something you
Thank
reminded
you.
me of. You reminded me of Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you know him. He says, your mind
Absolutely.
thinks, but your heart knows. And what we are talking about,
Yeah.
connecting to our emotions, to our body, the mind might be like, let's say, resisting this. How can you convince our mind, to go on this journey? And especially with lots of things that we are talking about, it's about following our intuition, following our emotions, but in the end you don't know what is going to happen.
Yeah. We never know. That's human life. We never know. We think we know, and we think we can control everything. Then in essence, we never know. Yeah, we can, something can happen tonight. We cannot wake up this morning or the next morning. Yeah. So we have planned all of this and we have, put it all together and we have forced ourselves. But yeah, we don't know what happens. So this is one of the big things. Yeah. I really work on with people, and I've worked on in myself to drop the sense of I can control life. Yeah. No, you can't. And then what I ask about the connection between our mind and our heart, our spirit, yeah, that's the essence of all the wisdom teachings, yeah. And Joe Dispenza, he powerfully, really connects it in his, in his teachings. But in essence, it is learning to, in a way, work with the mind, because our mind, our brains, we need to understand this, are always wired for safety, for keeping us safe, for keeping us in what is known. Yeah. And so, for example, we have powerful tools that have been here since thousands of years, like meditation. Da, 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 da. That does exactly that. Starting to see that our mind is always telling stories, that our mind is constantly chatting, that our mind always wants something from us. But what we do with meditation, with mindfulness, with Joe Dispenza's practices, with emotional mastery, is understanding that I can observe the mind and that my mind can have this opinion. And it's not wrong. It's also there, but that there's something else. And this something else is what most of us are completely disconnected from. That this is our actual, intelligence. Yeah. So there's this beautiful saying, which is, our mind is a terrible master, but a beautiful servant. Yeah. Powerful servant. Terrible master, but a powerful servant. But most people, most of us, live with the mind as the master. My mind says I'm not good for this. I'm not good enough for this. Okay, I don't do it. My mind says you need more, 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 more. Okay, I go more, 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 even though my body says no. Yeah. So we put the mind basically on the pedestal and everything else has to follow. But what the new paradigm is, heart-centered leadership, conscious entrepreneurship is, I have a mind, but I have also a body, I have a heart, and I have a spirit. Yeah. And what would I do and how would I lead when I take also these into the picture? Yeah.
Bianca, there's something also I'm curious to know from you, especially I've seen relatively few people concentrating especially on the somatic intelligence. So I'd like to know from you, what are the 3 biggest misconceptions or what do you want to say? Misconception, sorry. What was it?
No worries.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
The 3 blind spots. So the 3 biggest misconceptions
The
or
3
blind
blind spots.
spots, yes, about somatic intelligence.
Okay, so first of all, most people don't even know what somatics is. Yeah, it became this little trend word now, and then we think, oh, it's another fancy practice or something. No, it's the intelligence of our bodies that we always had inside of us. Yeah. And now we start to reclaim this a little bit more. Yeah. So maybe in the 90s or 80s or before yoga came into the Western world, then we had this wave of breath work. Yeah. Everyone was suddenly doing breath work and we thought it's a hype. But no, it's just, it's like powerful intelligence that was always very at the core of being a human, that yogis taught since ever. And now we start to uncover it again and finally start to listen. And the same goes with somatics, which I would say is the roof of mindfulness, of breath work, of movement. Yeah, it combines a lot of sound. Yeah, it's like this really this roof, this nest maybe for all of this. Yeah. And so one misconception that I see a lot, is that people think somatics needs to be a huge release. Yeah. Maybe sometimes on Instagram, I also post it sometimes. I post these videos of a big release. Yeah. Somebody really going into a deep, energetic release, or crying or shouting or screaming. Yeah. This can happen. Yeah. It can happen. And it happens. But these are like maybe 3% of the times or 5% of the times. And it usually needs a lot of, building safety in our body that we can truthfully really start to release these emotions. And the main work before is creating this safety and this stability in the body before we at one point can have a big, deep emotional release. Yeah. So number one is drop the idea that there is a goal. Yeah, this is the thing. We think we have another goal to fulfill. No, like your body will show. Then the second thing ties to that. Always when we work with the nervous system, which is basically in essence somatics, slowness, gentleness is key. Yeah, there's no rushing when we work with the nervous system. Yeah. It doesn't work. Our bodies are so intelligent and they only open when we have this sense of safety and when we have time and when we have space. Yeah. And this is a bit the problem that oftentimes goes against, especially the people I work with. Yeah. The one thing they don't have is time. So I be very creative, with them, very creative to create this sense of safety and to create this space for our nervous systems to open. And then the third thing is also very general, is we cannot solve with the mind, with talking, what happened at the level of the body. Yeah. Therapy is great, a lot of coaching, and especially all this mental work. Yeah. I'm putting affirmations somewhere. I'm visualizing things. It's mental. Yeah. It's on the mind level. And this is nice. You can put your vision board up and you can have your affirmations. But once you're in a survivor state, your affirmations will not help you. I'm sorry. No. And understanding your trauma will also not help you. Because as soon as you're triggered, you go back into your learned coping mechanisms. The strategies that have already worked for you when you were 5 years old and when you felt under threat. Yeah. So your body goes back into that, and we need to work with this. Yeah. We cannot work only with understanding what happened. Yeah. It's the story, which is helpful. It's helpful. Yeah. It's super powerful, of course, but we need to work with what is happening with the body in the states when you are triggered. Yeah. So we cannot solve at the level of the mind what happened at the level of the body. That's the third one.
While you are listening to the Core Impact podcast, please take a moment to pause and share with me. How do you feel? Are you enjoying the conversation, feeling inspired, or something else? I would love to know your feelings in the comments.
Yeah, thank you, Bianca. Since you're talking a lot about surviving and thriving, do you have a story from any leaders clients you worked with, that how did they transform from being in survival to thrive?
Yeah. yeah, I mean, that's the core, let's say, transformation or journey that so many of the founders I work with also go. Yeah. I have one specifically from a CEO of a food tech startup that yeah, I'm working with in some time. And when he came to me, he was just in the middle of fundraising. Yeah. So super stressful, of course, like a lot of pressure. Yeah. As always, money running out. I mean, it's the story of every founder. We're always basically fundraising in some ways. Yeah. So I would say before the fundraising or after the fundraising is just before the fundraising. Yeah. So so he was in the middle of that. Yeah. Completely. He couldn't sleep. He was like very anxious, like very going into this catastrophic. Yeah. Like this. Okay. What would happen if we don't? Yeah. Who would I let go of? Da, 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 da. Yeah. And this is what our mind loves to do. Produce
Worst case
worst
scenario.
cases.
Yes.
Okay. Exactly. So I started working with him, and the first maybe 3 weeks, yeah, because we were on a time pressure because he was in the middle of fundraising. So the first 3 to 4 weeks I worked, yeah, sometimes 2-3 times a week, only on bringing back safety into his nervous system. Yeah. And as I work with founders under extreme pressure states, I have a bit of different way of working. Yeah? I'm not a therapist where you go every single week or every 2 weeks or whatever. No. When a founder of mine is really in this survival state, we sometimes do sessions at 7 a.m. to prepare him for a big meeting. Yeah. Or when he's completely overwhelmed, we do a session at 9 p.m. Yeah. So I worked really deeply with him, bringing back some safety in his nervous system. Yeah. A lot through the breath, a lot through releasing. And then he already started to see a shift, and he was already like, yeah, wow, I can see more. Yeah. So because when we are in the survivor state, we are super focused, which is helpful, of course, because we want to chase this goal. Yeah. We want to chase the antelope. Yeah. Speaking in this survivor states, we want to chase the antelope, but we also have this tunnel focus. So we cannot see other options anymore. Yeah. So after a little bit of bringing in a little bit of safety, groundedness, yeah, calm in his nervous system, he was like, oh, there are actually also other options. We could also do this. And there are more investors, and there are this, and so on and so forth. Oh, and we could do a convertible, and we could do this and that. Yeah, so he already started to expand his possibilities. And then we worked on, going a little bit deeper. What are the fears inside of him that drive him to think everything will collapse if this is not moving forward? Yeah, so we went deeper into his conditioning, into patterns that are present, into patterns that make him constantly run, and so on and so forth. And then, I supported him with hacks and tools to go much clearer into investor meetings or into conversations. And he started to see really, wow, this is helping, this is supporting, I'm not reacting as much anymore. And then he could see, for example, that he started to change his relationship with triggers, because he was one of the ones who said, like, I'm so aggressive all the time. He was like on fire all the time. And we started to work with his triggers and actually with his suppressed sadness. Yeah, so he started to become calmer. He started to build a different relationship with his team. And very important, many of us as CEOs, especially, yeah, this is the founder CEO disease. We have, of course, because we basically nurtured this baby from conception. Yeah. So we started to build this company already months or years even before anybody saw it. Yeah. So there's so much in it. And then we nurture it every single day. Yeah. It's like this baby, this being that we nurture. And so even this CEO that I talk about, he was already a couple of years in, but he still treated it like a newborn. Yeah. So imagine your mother or a father, but a mother is better in that case. And your child is already 5 years old or 6 years old, but you still treat it as a newborn. Yeah, you do not leave it 1 second alone. You do everything with it. You're just constantly there. Yeah, is it good for the baby? No. Is it good for you? No. Will it have more social contacts with others? No. But this is the disease that many CEOs have, that they still treat the startup like a newborn. Yeah. And so by really bringing in this understanding also and this connection, work also energetically with him, then he saw that he does not even allow some of his team members to take things over from him, So he's like constantly doing, but he has a team who could support him, but he does not allow it. So this is the deeper patterns that we work with. Yeah.
Bianca, I have here two things that came to my mind. The first one is when you work with your clients, sometimes 7 in the morning, at 9 in the evening, don't you have boundaries, and how can you make sure that you don't also go in this loop of stress or overwork that might affect you?
Yeah, definitely a topic. Not gonna lie. No, I've always been an extremely passionate person. Yeah, I can only do things that I'm really passionate about, and people feel it. And I'm so passionate about the work. Yeah, I don't even call it work anymore. About the service that I do. And of course, this comes exactly with this, a little bit tricky part of like, I love the work so much, but I also, of course, need to, also have my time to regenerate. And what I have learned now is that, I'm so in connection with my body that I listen to my body so well that I know instantly this is too much. Yeah. Sometimes I still work a lot. Yeah. People always joke when they know me well. They're like, yeah, you always write about, I don't want to be a workaholic anymore, or no hustle culture. Yeah, I still work a lot. I still work sometimes 12 hours a day. Yeah, I do big retreats and everything. But the big difference is I can switch off, that I can regenerate, that I take complete time off totally. And this is the biggest thing, I do not feel bad about it. Yeah. So I can completely go away. I do not feel bad about it. I can sleep well at night because I can switch off from my clients. Yeah. And some things that work really well for me, that help me, to also, let's say, discharge after this oftentimes big emotional processes that also, of course, like I feel with my clients, like, I have such a deep connection with my clients oftentimes that, or always actually, that I feel with them, and I feel their stress, and I feel the emotions that they're going through. So what works for me is also something that I usually pass on to my clients. So our nervous systems need time to discharge. Yeah. So every time after a big activation, and in my case, this could be a really intense session, but in the case of a CEO, that could be a stressful meeting. Yeah. We need time to discharge, and our nervous system needs 20 minutes. Yeah. After a big activation minimum, to come back to our optimal state. Yeah. So what I do, for example, is I walk a lot. Yeah. Sympathetic walks. I do breath work. I go in nature. Yeah. Simple things, but they work really well. I go to the gym. Yeah. For me, gym is perfect emotional release. Love it. When I feel like really full with emotions, I go to the gym at 9 in the evening sometimes. Yeah. Or I live by the ocean. Yeah. For me, the ocean is a big, cleanse. I surf a lot. So surfing for me. So find ways that are possible for you to naturally combine with your life. Yeah. And that also give you joy. Yeah. So for somebody else, I don't know, surfing would be stress or whatever. They don't, it's just not their thing, or it's not possible. But for me, it's like, it's this I enjoy it. It's super good for our bodies, to release. Being in the ocean, being in the water is such a powerful energetic cleanse also. And I'm away from my phone. So this is perfect for me, but it can be something completely different for you, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Bianca. And here
Now,
also
of
the
course,
same.
like it
Yeah.
doesn't help.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah, continue.
you go.
There is a time difference, I think, a bit of delay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just saying, when we're already really activated, what, for example, does not help is to have more caffeine, coffee, drink more coffee, or have a really stressful day and then have a wine or beer in the evening, It's like common sense in a way, but I know, of course, also from being a founder for so long that we sometimes, we just don't want to notice, or that we tend to avoid this in a little bit. And then it's like, but I just want to calm down, and we have a wine or something, or we go, it's fine sometimes, but for our nervous systems, we need to be a bit more gentle and loving with our nervous systems. That would be really powerful for most founders, many founders, all founders. Yeah.
The other question is also goes in the same direction, is many people don't know that they are in the middle of a burnout. So many of your maybe potential clients that should come to you and ask coaches to help them, they don't even know that they need help. So how, if someone is listening and they might say, this is something that is interesting for me, but I'm not affected by it, they might be already in a burnout. How can they know also from the signs of the body that they might be in a burnout, and how can they know in which stage they are in?
Yeah, we need more education also around burnout, and our nervous system and mental health in this way, because many think of burnout like, oh, I'm completely out, I'm sick, I need to take time off, I cannot work anymore. But no, there's a thing that is called high functioning burnout or high functioning freeze. And honestly, so many founders are in it. It's like insane, So what is high functioning burnout? You can still function, you still do your thing. This was the state that I described before. You can still perform on the outside. You can still do all your meetings, but inside you crash completely. So you still do your 10-hour days in the office or home office or wherever, but you cannot switch off anymore at night. You do not feel excitement anymore. You sleep maybe 8 hours, even 7 hours. Sometimes founders tell me, I sleep now 8 hours. But how do you wake up? I wake up and I'm completely drained. So the sleep is not regenerative. Our minds are racing all the time. We are in this catastrophic thinking. And a lot of worries are present. We do not really enjoy any things that are not work related anymore. So many founders have lost all kind of, let's say, hobbies or playful things. We do not make time for play anymore. Many relationships struggle. Partnerships really are like, oh my goodness. So sometimes it's even the partner of a CEO that is like, can you please work with him or her? Because it strains our relationships, also co-founder relationships, of course. And then I would say when you just feel really, flat or really extremely overactivated for a longer period of time, then it's something to really start looking into. And the beauty is that with these states, when you're still, let's say, functioning, you can still do things. When you are at one point completely knocked out in a burnout, or your body already produced really symptoms, then it's harder. I mean, it's never, of course, our bodies are super resilient and power machines, so we can always come back. But when your hormones are completely all over the place already, then it's harder. It takes a bit more time. So when you are now noticing this, let's say, alarms signs, then it's a good time to start, coming back into connection with yourself a bit more.
Bianca, if someone is listening and they want to change something in their life and their career specifically, do you think that anyone can start their own business, or entrepreneurship is not for everyone?
Wow, powerful. Okay, I'm going to be really honest with you. Yeah. I think it's not for everyone. Yeah. I think, and I know, like, my truth, that founders are a pretty interesting species in a way, and we have very interesting personality traits oftentimes also. But there is a big difference. Yeah. Do I want to build a VC-backed high-growth startup? Certainly not for everyone. Yeah. Certainly not. And it's like a small percentage of people who are, let's say, made for this. Yeah. But do I want to build my freedom business, solo business? Yeah. Do I want to build a business that has impact and supports other people, or that gives me more freedom, whatever, purpose it is? Yes, I think if you have the willingness, and if you are open to learn, yeah, totally. But it takes this internal motivation, and really importantly, it not only, I would say 20% of business building is your strategies. 80% is your inner, in your emotional, your emotion set, your heart set, your mindset. Yeah. I have it so oftentimes that women that I work with, I love to work with female founders, helping them to build their freedom businesses. And they come and they say, I've paid all these courses, I've paid all these academies, like these business academies, but I'm still stuck. I have all that wisdom. Yeah, this is exactly the same thing. You have the mental map of what you can do, but your emotions keep you stuck. Yeah, internalized unworthiness, your guilt, your shame, your fear. Yeah, this is everything that is speaking actually is overriding all your perfect little online courses. Yeah. It's an inner journey. Yeah. If you want the fastest personal development course, then start to build your own brand and your personal business. Yeah. You are going to be confronted with everything along the way.
Bianca, so far, is there anything that you think is important to talk about, especially when we talk about somatic intelligence and we haven't mentioned yet?
That's a very open question. I could, no, I mean, honestly, like, I believe 21st century leadership, entrepreneurship needs, to include emotional mastery wisdom. Yeah. Otherwise we are continuing building businesses that completely drain the founders, that are often not in alignment. Yeah. When we look at the state of the world, I believe many founders are really, purpose driven and really want to change something in the world and really want to build something from a deep sense of vision and mission. But if we, continue to ignore emotional mastery wisdom, somatic intelligence, neuroscience, we will continue to have this epidemic of burnt out founders and businesses that have to close, and basically lost visions also in a way. Yeah. So I believe it's really not only the time, but it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah. Let's stay in the future and talk about, if you think about how much AI is changing everything, or you talk about the future of work, how can AI in tech in general coexist with emotional intelligence, and how can we prepare ourselves for the future?
So how can it coexist? I would say it already coexists, because AI is, of course, based on the information we give it. And there's a lot of Also emotional intelligent data. Yeah, not everything, but there is a part of it. So I totally believe it can coexist. Yeah, and I get asked a lot as a coach and therapist. Oh my goodness, Bianca. So will AI replace your jobs, our jobs? Like will coaching be completely replaced by AI? And I'm like, yeah, a good part of it will be replaced. And this is great. Yeah, this is amazing because we have this huge mental health epidemic. Yeah. So many people are really suffering. Many people cannot have access to mental health support. So I truly believe everything that can support us in regulating our emotions, in becoming more aware, in supporting us in self-reflection is great. Yeah. And I have friends building amazing AI coaching businesses. I find it powerful. Yeah. And there's a big part that AI will not be able to replace also, because one of the essence of my work, of the work of therapists, of coaches, yeah, is human resonance. So we really sense a lot. Yeah, we really feel a lot. I see, where are you? What is going on in your bodies? What I take so much into consideration. Yes. And then also we co-regulate as humans. Yeah, our nervous systems co-regulate with each other. Yeah, I sense your energy and it helps me to calm down, for example. And when I work really somatically, I do retreats and also in-person sessions. When I work deeply somatically, touch is super healing. Yeah, just being supported in what we're going through. So there's a big part that cannot be replaced in that sense. And I think it's actually a super good opportunity for everyone working with humans, yeah, as a therapist, as a coach, to really honor that humanness more and more. And what I also see is that there is a much bigger craving for in-person spaces. So I think this is also something that COVID really brought to us, that we're now craving really this being togetherness. And people are always asking, when is your next retreat? I really want to, be with you. I really want to be with others. So there's this, I really see this big need for being together, for being also offline, being in a group, the group dynamics and so on and so forth. So to answer your question, I believe there's very powerful potential in using AI for helping to build emotional intelligence, regulation skills, and so on and so forth, supporting mental health. And there's also a big part that will always be, human to human.
Bianca, I really love the discussion with you. And it's not only what you said, but how you said it, the energy, and especially how we started, just being aware of it when you talk about somatic. For example, these movements you said, how you directly started saying how much we try to protect, for example, our image, and just being there and being playful, and so many other things that I liked about our discussion. And I would like to ask you this question because many times we get inspired, we have some thoughts, we might even enjoy the discussion, but in the end, we might not do anything after this. So what is your call to action? At least one thing that everyone who's listening to us say, do this or try to do this or explore this, for example, after listening to this episode.
Wow. What? Yeah, I basically said it. We co-regulate with others, and we also need time offline and for ourselves to regulate ourselves. So I really invite you to see today what is one small thing, that I can do for myself, for my connection with myself. So that is really my call to action for you. What can you do? One small thing that you can start to, integrate in your daily life in your busy day that connects you with yourself. And we've given a lot of examples throughout this podcast.
Mm.
And then, of course, if you really want to go, deeper, want to understand your patterns, your coping mechanisms, your survival strategies, I run powerful programs. Yeah. Very accessible also. Yeah. Very powerful group of founders and CEOs, always leaders together. So this is one invitation to, see my programs. I have powerful retreats, always in Portugal, where I live. And and there's a lot of also free content that I share. And I've just finished a emotional survival guide for founders that will come out in the next couple of days. So this is something that you can download then, where I really give you a step-by-step guide on how to work with your nervous system and your emotions in, let's say, high pressure environments. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you very much again, Bianca. Actually, I didn't ask you all the questions that I wanted to, and I wanted to keep this this energy and excitement. Probably, if you are open to it, with another episode, so we can go deeper also.
I'd love to. Oh,
Okay.
thank you so much. Also, it was a pleasure to be here and to dive deeper into all of these questions with you. Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation.
Do you feel inspired by this conversation? If that's the case, please share that with me, write me a comment, and share it with a friend that you know will benefit from this podcast. Core Impact Podcast is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other major platforms.